Hello, hello, hello.
I have to keep doing this. Somebody said the lid for this.
Yeah, was it Leah? Welcome everybody, Donna and Cheryl TV, keeping it real for you, 12:30 Thursday. And today's topic is permission to be you. This is what we've been building up to all week, looking at areas of mental resilience and how you can be yourself. But today we are landing with it is now time for you to have permission to be you. So anything that's getting in the way of that, today, Cheryl, we need to blast it out of the water.
Yes. So whoever is listening in to us now, we want interaction. We want to know. We want the truth. Because sometimes with this subject, we can tell ourselves, we can convince ourselves, we can fill ourselves with fiction that we are really showing up being ourselves. And yes, we are. And we're being authentic and we don't wear masks. I was saying I was being authentic for 40 odd years. And then I went and got some counselling and
you realised you were.
When I came out of the session, she's like, are you really being authentic? And I was like, well, yes, I am being authentic. I've been training this out in corporate for years, how to be an authentic leader. Are you really being authentic? And I was like, oh, I convinced myself I was being the real me. And this wasn't in like, it was in certain areas of my life. I didn't realize that I wasn't being me. I thought I was until it was slapped in the face. And then I was like, oh, in one of the biggest relationships of my life, is one area where I was not being me. I hadn't given myself permission to be me, had I?
No.
I was like that. Say what?
It's crazy. But I think the really important point in that is that you didn't know. So when we are sailing along, just saying, well, this is me, these are my thoughts, this is how I am, this is how I react, I get you done, I'm all or nothing, all these I ams, yeah? When we don't just stop, take a minute and go, is it? Is it who I am? How does it make me feel? Where am I feeling restricted in my life? Where have I got more opportunity for growth? So it's like when people say, I'm not ready to be in a relationship, or I'm not, like, that might be the truth. But the question is it? Like, is it the truth? Or is it the truth that you've been telling yourself for so long that you now believe it? When actually at the time, it might have been the right time for you to have a relationship because you just ping-ponged out of a crappy divorce. But now you're 10 years on, you're more evolved, you're in a different space. But because you've been saying, I'm not good for relationships, I'm not good in relationships, I'm not good, all of a sudden we're formed, I don't do relationships, it's a belief system. Yeah.
And I think for you, Yvette, tree hugging hippie, rock chick, corporate warrior princess, let's have it. However, you, by your own admittance, which you've shared with us there, it hit to come here, convinced yourself you were traditional wifey, dressed different, didn't have tattoos you longed for, and ended up listening to music and hated. So I was just going to come on to that. Like for you.
What was the music that you hated? Were you listening to Michael Bublé, Yvette?
Yeah. But you like, we like, and we talked about this about blending in yesterday. You were blending in there, weren't you? That's a perfect example of blending in with something that you believed was the right thing to do, and like you lose yourself along the way. And then we convince ourselves, as Donna's just said, we form beliefs that this is us. Like we actually believe the story, but we just know now when we are being us, that when you look back, like something wasn't right or something's off. We've got the signs, haven't we? We've got the senses which are telling us it's not right.
Absolutely. And it's because, things like when I was in corporate and I was working crazy hours and I was like, no, I love it. I love the adrenaline. I love like last minute stuff. I love the emergencies, but I didn't really know anything else. Like I'd grown up in that kind of environment. And now when I get up and I get to have my coffee and I get to meditate and I get to, not have calls at 11 o'clock at night unless I choose to with the other side of the world, or I don't have to, get something up and running on a weekend unless it's for orbit. Like it's very different. So some of it is just perspective and some of it is about having new experiences and tuning in. So it's like when you have a different experience and testing the theory of, well, I like that. Like when we tell ourselves we don't like certain relationships or we don't like doing something in a certain way, we're not very good at challenging ourselves, are we? That's the way we've always done it. So that's what we know. Whereas like you said, Cheryl, when I think back now, there was loads of signs in my body that I was stressed out. There was loads of signs in like how I was, and like you said that when we used to hurtle to the weekend and then drink too much on a Friday night and go out dancing and do all the crazy stuff. You know, to be fair, I stopped doing that a long time ago. But like at the time, I didn't tally that with an indicator that I wasn't happy, and that was why I was doing it. I didn't question the behavior. It was just me. It was just my life.
Yeah. And like when I look back at those times, like I was literally, and I say this all the time, like hanging on the rafters. I was literally like
Swinging.
a Duracell bunny on crack. Like, but I thought that was me. I mean, my mum and dad, poor things. I used to go and like finish work, and they would look after Holly and pick her up, and I'd go and pick her up. I was like a whirlwind, like coming in and out of their house, like just going from one thing to another, and believing that you know that was that I enjoyed it. And going out and, you know, on a weekend, and yeah, I do enjoy going out and dancing, having a drink every now and then, much less so nowadays. But I believe, you know, I was a party animal. We used to say, didn't we, go hard or go home? Like you take on the role, the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's and you live it. You're just in it, living it every single day.
Well, you tell yourself the lie that you like it as well.
Yeah.
You tell yourself that you like it because that's what gets you through. And then when you sit and think about it, like, and I think, like, do I like it? Do I like it? And I don't. And I stepped away like a long time ago from going out and drinking and all that. Like, it just wasn't my thing. And then I had Caleb, which changed things again. So, yeah, but it's having the time and the space to reflect on that, isn't it? So
that's what Yvette's just asking. Is there a way of interrupting behaviours and beliefs before having a life-changing event that forces you to look at them?
You know, simple things like the life audit that we said we could give you guys. If anybody wants it, just drop us a DM. We'll email it to you. Just doing that and sitting and having a cuppa and going, right, if I'm scoring my life out of 10 in my social life, with my friendships, with my money relationships, money is a big one. With my fitness, my health, my sleep. You know, you look at those areas of your life, score yourself out of 10 and do it honestly. And when you stop and just think about it and say, am I happy? So what does that look like? What would I love it to be? So like now with money, I'm always managing and I've never quite got enough, and I'm always spending a bit more with credit card, and I don't really care because life's too short. And I tell myself that, right, okay, how would I like it to be? Would I feel better if I had 20k in the bank all the time and never had to worry about money? Or would I feel better if I'm telling myself I don't mind being a size 16, but actually would I love to be, you know, a bit healthier and a bit fitter and be able to go for runs? Like, what would that be? And it's just about imagining and daydreaming and exploring and giving yourself space, and just stop accepting that as it is now is how it's always going to be. That's only true if you don't change anything, if you don't look to see what needs changing. So holding the mirror up, having a friend hold the mirror up, doing a bit of a similar life audit exercise, just thinking about like, where are you not happy? Where have you got behaviors that are obvious signs of not being happy, like over drinking, feeling stressed, procrastination, health issues? Like the signs are all there. We just don't see them. We don't listen to them. We just ignore them.
And I think the other element of this is around, and it's not just other people seeing and hearing you, but it's about, you see, this is the perfect example of tuning in and listen, seeing yourself for who you are, and tuning in and listening to yourself is what you've just said.
Now I've got Beyonce.
Which one?
To the sound.
Oh,
yeah, I've got that in my head now.
and I'll tell you a story. Whenever Donna and I get drunk together, she starts wailing at the top of her voice, and I, at the time when I'm intoxicated, think she sounds like Beyonce, and tell us that she sounds like Beyonce. She just continues singing.
She's sitting there going, oh, listen to her, isn't she amazing? And all the rest of her mates are like, it's hideous, look how much you've been drinking. It's so funny. We're children. Oh, I love it. That's what I'm like.
Oh, but it is, isn't it? It's about tuning in, listen into your own body about what you need, and finding your own voice. Because before you can be seen and heard and find a voice and be visible externally, you have to do it internally, because you've got to know who you are at the core.
Mm-hmm.
I'm echoing again.
so true, Yvette. So Yvette's just saying for years and years and years, we're taught to push through, power through. And it was like a badge of honor. And I blame the whole 80s and then, you know, the yuppie, and then we had the whole spice up your life, Spice Girls, and it was like all this, like, you know, just go hard, like do this and we do everything and do it, and it's like, do we want to though? We kind of want to, and if that floats your boat, all power to you. But again, you just then start playing another role, like you start becoming something else that you're not. So it's just like, who are you in your essence? And like, when are you at your happiest? When do you feel at your best? When do you laugh and you don't care how you sound and how you look? Like, who are those people that you're around? Because that's the person that you should be all day. I'm not saying that you can go into work without your eyebrows on, without wearing your bra. Like, of course, there are some standards that have to be upheld, but your personality goes with you. We've just done a big a masterclass this morning, why there are not more women in the boardroom. And, you know, there was 60 really senior, powerful women and one man there from HR world and from organizations. And it was funny afterwards. Well, Sarah and I and Cheryl were chatting. Sarah McKenna, who ran it for, you know, who pulled it together and ran it and got it all together for us. And we said it's so lovely because we just turn up as ourselves. We don't turn up as different people. The swear word still popped out. I haven't changed my clothes to go on it.
I still had my pajamas on.
She still had her pajamas on the bottom. And we told people that. But you know what I mean? And it's like, whereas like years ago, I would have felt I had to come on and be different and speak and it's like, no. The only time I change how I speak now is just from consciousness. I was talking to my friend Don yesterday in San Diego, and he can't understand this when I'm going full belt, so I have to just slow it down a bit. And he appreciates me for that. But you know, it's just about you. You do have the awareness, you're just blocking it out. And our work is to tune in.
Yes. Just going to put, that's why I avoid wine, because I think, me too.
I believe you. I believe you are Beyonce.
But I actually think I am better than Beyonce. I take it one step further.
She just thinks she's better than Beyonce. Oh, lost your sound, Cheryl.
I've just taken my speaker up and hear his voice echoing. Oh, still doing it now.
So, come on, we really want to challenge you now. I don't care if you're watching this live or you're watching it later. Where are you not really yourself? Now, you don't have to say it. You can just say, I know where it is. You don't have to say it with me mother-in-law or at work or with my husband or whatever. Like, I want you to get conscious right now. If you just choose one area of your life where you know that you're moderating, you're playing it a bit smaller, a bit safer, you're not quite letting yourself rip. Where is that area? And I want to know that you know, because I want to know that you're conscious of it. Because when we get conscious, we can get competent. And then I want you to think about what's the one thing that you can do, the one step that you can take towards showing up as just 5% more of yourself, just 5% more. What does that look like? Thank you, Joni. What does it look like? What's the one action, the one thing that you would do that would really start to shift it nearer to the authentic scale rather than the mask scale? What would it be? And we're coaches, so we're good with silence. Probably not very entertaining people watching, but we want you to share what that is. And for some people, it's their partners. When they really sit and do this work, they realize that they're not themselves because they're scared of being rejected by the person that they love most in the world. Sometimes it's our parents and our siblings. We put up with stuff from them that we wouldn't anywhere else. And that's not you being authentic. If you know you're kind of taking more shite than you would elsewhere, sometimes it's a case of, I don't know how I'm going to have the conversation, but I know I need to, create some better boundaries or create some different ground rules or rules of engagement and respect. What is it for you? And we really want you to do this work. And if you haven't done the life audit with us, DM us and get that. Like, it's such a powerful piece of work. And one of our clients did it when she started working with us, like in March time, and scored herself quite low on them. And then she did it again after 90 days. And the difference just from doing inner work on her, where she thought it was issue with her relationship, she realized, well, I'm the common denominator. And the shift is phenomenal.
Yeah. Joni's just saying scared of getting it wrong or being wrong. So that stops you from speaking up or saying what you really feel and think.
And what's the worst that could happen, Joni? So you know what you're scared of. What's the one thing that you could do And it might just be like, I remember when I started, I was so scared of sounding like an idiot in senior meetings when I was promoted and stuff. And I thought, my goal is literally just to contribute my opinions at least 3 times. Even if my opinion is that I don't really have an opinion, it was to make sure that people knew what I was thinking and where my head was at, because people just thought I had no opinion.
Yvette, everybody is ready for Yvette Maximum. Not no one. Everybody.
It feels like I'm a firework being stuffed into a tiny handbag. It's at work. I'm not sure how to do this without being all or nothing. No one is ready for Yvette Max. Says who? How do you know that nobody's ready for Yvette? Full scale, bonfire, Guy Fawkes styley.
I think the question I would say to you, Yvette, that's a projection. So what you're actually saying is, coaching moment, you're not ready for Yvette at the max. That's what you're saying, because you're just projecting. So that's the bit you have to tune into, is for you to get ready for Yvette at the max. Rather than what if other people are ready.
Because you can't speak for other people. Like, you can't, like, I could take umbrage and say that's disrespectful. You might know that we're not ready for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've just got to play devil's advocate with it and hear that that's the thing that you're telling yourself, but it's only true in your head.
Yeah. Quite capable of setting your own fireworks off.
What do you not know?
Else do it.
What do you not know? Yvette said, damn right, coaching moments.
Yeah.
You're so
we
right.
know.
Honestly.
We know.
Like,
we're
if you
right.
all just get that we're always right, it just makes life so much easier. Like, it's so much less repetition for you when you just go, well, they're always right.
Yeah.
So let's do what they say the first time they say it. Like, wouldn't that be easy? So, yeah, I want you to really think about, like, what is it that you don't know? And if you're really coming up a blank, what I'm going to tell you is, as a coaching moment, is you do know. You do know. You're just not tuned into it yet. So it's like giving yourself some space and sitting down and thinking about those different areas of your life. Do your life audit and really sit and think about, where am I not showing up as me? Where am I really, really me? And I want you all to be like Guy Fawkes, going in as you.
Absolutely. And, you know, the only person that you need permission from for anything that you want to get in your life is from yourself. You have to give yourself permission to do this, to be you, to be Yvette at the max, to be Joni at work and not giving a flying F if you get something wrong, because it's, again, a projection that you don't want to be wrong. So you have to give yourselves permission to be 5%, as Donna said, 5% more authentic, 5% more of you every day, until you're at 100%, you're at the max and you haven't even realised the transition.
Yeah, because it might not be that it's not that you're not being yourself, because you is still you, but it's like, I don't know, like when you're with the bands and you have a lot of free child and you're running around and you're playing and you're doing all that stuff, do you bring some of that into your work, or are you quite, like, I have had to say to so many people, and Cheryl will tell you, over my corporate career as a leader, to my teams of leaders who led leaders, like I worked with senior leaders, and I have to say to them, I see one person when we go out for a drink who's really fun. Then I see this really quite boring, quite stern, quite strict person in work. Like, which one is you? Because I'm confused right now. And I've had that conversation so many times. Like, just be yourself. And people have had to work to find who themselves was, because teams, when they're working with you, when they're around you, can sense that. Like, so if you's actually quite natural and full of fun, bring more natural and full of fun. If you's actually quite serious and you're having to, you know, play a different role at work, well, what does that look like? It's just about tapping into all those different parts of your energy.
All about the plot twist. Oh, I nearly said plot tits there. It's a new phrase. All about the plot tits.
All about it. Yeah, plot twist. We like a plot twist.
Yeah.
So don't forget, yesterday we launched the Supercharge Your Self-Confidence. Are you putting it in, Chaz, or can we do?
Oh, it's still there, yes. Because I put it in somewhere else. It's still in me.
16th of July, 2 times, 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. to come on the Supercharge Your Self-Confidence Masterclass. So in June, we ran a 5-day challenge. This is a masterclass with some of the best activities, tips, techniques, tools, and coaching strategies from that challenge. So even if you are on the challenge, you've got to work at this stuff. You've got to keep working, and repetition only helps. So you might have took one thing or two things that you're doing from the challenge. I doubt that everybody's doing all the things. So even if you did the challenge, you can still come along. It's fine. Share the link. It's a one-off. We haven't got a plan to do it again. So don't come and ask me if we're doing it again in August. We're not. So come along, come to the challenge, get booked. The spaces are limited because there's only a certain number of seats on the webinar for the masterclass. 50 of them went yesterday. So make sure if you want to come, you get booked on. Loads of people said to me, can I share it with friends? Yes, you can share it, but please share it with people who are action takers. If somebody likes to come along and just see what it's about, it's like, take the seat because you want more self-confidence and you're prepared to do the work about it. Okay, you know us, no holds barred when we're on there. Like, we want action takers.
Right, Joni, what are you going to do about that then?
Yeah. I said, if my friends and her family saw me at work, they wouldn't recognize me. And remember, we don't want pendulum swings.
No,
because people at work will go, what the? But
Yeah.
it's about like, what's the 1%, the 2%, the 5%. Think about the small actions so that, you know, in weeks and months, you just feel like you get up, you go and have all your different interactions. When you go to bed, not so tired, haven't had to wear 20 masks and carry your arm around because you just went everywhere.
Apart from a vet, you've got to go to the max. That rule applies to everyone else, but a vet has to set the fireworks off and go to the max.
She's been getting coached off us for a while. Like, that girl's got, like, she's on a...
Yeah. Amazing.
Right, ladies, men, whoever's on and watching, or if you're watching on replay, still make sure you put stuff in if you want our opinion or if you want any tips from us. Remember to tag me at Cheryl. And if you want the life audit, you need to drop us a DM and we will email it to you. Keep your eyes peeled tonight for the lowdown. I've got some stuff in there I want you to have a read of as well, just to get you into your second half of the year and get you really focused and some clarity on it. So, love you all. See you tomorrow with the squad for some fun and frolics for Friday. Keep it real, people.
Bye.
Bye.